I how do I start? I've been using a lot of music in my videos, as you have heard if you watch them, listen to them, and made videos and such on it, and that's actually more or less the only proper reason I still use technology. At least that's all I'm able to think of right now, except for some little things maybe, which would be at the computer when I do photographs, which is the main thing I do at the computer nowadays, or the phone, which I'm going to pull out for a reason. Because I want to listen to a song together with you, which I've been listening to over and over again for the last weeks, months, when I use it in the mixes, Dreamer ones, and I just want to say that empathy is a true gift, especially when it comes to music, but I suppose any kind of art form. To truly sense it in its fullest form, and to also be able to feel it by using the body and the senses to gain the proper experience of it. And actually this song, as do many others, give me this, what I suppose people would describe as euphoria. It's just a word, but this absolute appreciation of being alive and so on. It's quite long though, so only the start of it. And hello Santeri. The guitar. And the drumming. Oh. And so it continues. So anyway, the phones, of course, you should not carry around with you at all times, because it's not natural to be able to reach out to you always, anybody who wants to, with the voice, the frequency of that, the technology, and there's the radiation, and not the kind that comes from the sun, the other kind of radiation. And of course, likely you've heard of all the stories of tumors and such growing where people hold their cell phones and all, especially as it is with teenagers nowadays. Everybody with their phone, always blah blah blah. And if you listen to music, just put it somewhere in the back or as far away as possible from you, or don't use headphones or any kind, because of the electromagnetic waves, I believe it's called. Doesn't matter what I call it, should be quite common sense to get it, that it's not exactly healthy to put that kind of technology in your ears. So I've heard a lot about frequencies and such, and usually it's just empty words, but when it comes to music frequency, ever since I started sungazing, I've been realizing that likely there's something to it. What people are saying about music frequency now, there's special kind of frequencies, because my senses have been becoming more or less more natural, or let's just say they've been changing in some way. And it's something I've always been in some way aware of. A lot of especially obviously and mostly mainstream, very popular mainstream music and such, it doesn't matter exactly what the song is about, but there's this kind of frequency in it that tells me there's just something off there. It doesn't give off the emotions that are portrayed in it, and a lot of other things. For example, a lot of trance and such music has this kind of frequency. Also, the kind of music called happy hardcore, as in hardcore techno and techno music in general, and of course the name as such is a joke, happy. I suppose what they meant is joyful hardcore, but that's just the way the word is misused nowadays. Talked about enough about it. And this kind of music many times has this kind of frequency, so there's special targeted audience when it comes to this. So I'm gonna try to put in words what I'm talking about. It's not that I haven't talked about it, but this is a little bit different. So let's just imagine that you've been created and you've been put in a space where there are all kinds of colors, and let's just say somebody's tells you that these and these and these colors are not what you want in your existence, it's bad, as in not welcome, or this kind of nonsense, which is what's happening in this reality. So of course, if you will always spend that period, your existence in that space with those colors always being around, then because you've been taught that it's bad, you will always not feel exactly well and such. And essentially it all comes down to being unhappy, right? That's what I've talked about. So this is exactly the same thing as it is with many times, such as the seasons of the year, which I believe that song I played fits quite well somewhere in November, December in Europe, not in other places, I suppose, California or wherever. So the point is that when people get told that what they want in their life is only joy and only that and that, a limited amount of the experience, and that's what they should strive for. I'm confusing those words again. That's what they should welcome in their life, let's just say that, put it that way. So when it comes to that point, they will of course start listening to this kind of music, possibly, or many other things, but seeing as I'm talking of music, that's the point of this video, and end up with this kind of frequency. So they will want that, but essentially get something completely else, because these people who are in power of the music and of course of everything else have a special kind of understanding of human behavior, human psychology and everything, the way the human body works, and way beyond that, to control them in the most efficient way. And this is how music and the music frequency is possibly used. That's what I've been sensing, especially lately. And the thing is that a lot of people nowadays, when it comes to music, search for such things as song quality and such, a lot of unnecessary things. And of course the music it doesn't change what it is at its core, but this is not the kind of stuff that people care about who make music as the passion of expressing art. And the real point I actually want to get down to is that people who do not sense what is addicting music, what I make the mixes and everything about, are essentially unhappy. And I'm hoping that I was able to explain it in some way, that you're able to realize what I'm trying to say, because of this not acceptance of whatever that may be, of these things, of these colors, as in the example. And I've had so many experiences about this, I'm very sure about it at this point. So, just to end this video quickly, what I was trying to say is that this kind of frequency and other things that contribute are what creates this blockage in people. So, same as it is in the example of colors, it would be closing their sense of vision to not perceive or experience these special colors which they've been told not to. So in this reality, and I'm talking about music, that would be the same. As I said, I've seen many times closing their ears, ignoring it, distracting themselves in some way, and so on. That is what closing up is. It's not being open. So this does then, of course, as I've talked about many times, lead to unhappiness. And I'm wondering if anybody has experienced this. Tom has, he told me, he can relate to it, that many times when hearing this kind of frequency music, whether it's on purpose or not, I just want to wash it off in some way, not literally, but that would be by listening to something like Screamo or black metal many times. Comment if you can relate to what I'm saying.